This is Dolany TV, guys. A big welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion, aka trade talk, because we have a trade to announce between the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers. Essentially, if you follow my logic here, the Oilers have traded Jordan Eberle for Ryan Spooner. Really? Okay, so no, it's not technically that. We already know that the Oilers traded Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome, but if you follow logic now, are you getting the hints? Yes, Ryan Strome, the struggling forward for the Edmonton Oilers, has been traded to the New York Rangers for another struggling forward. Okay, this is where it gets very, very comparable, very, very quick when you start talking about Ryan Spooner and Ryan Strome on this season. Okay, so Ryan Spooner, the guy incoming from the New York Rangers. He's a centerman, winger, whatever you want to call him. Kind of a Nuge-esque kind of guy, but third line quality at this point of his career. And you've got Ryan Strome, who's 25. So 26, 25, 1 year apart. NHL experience is pretty much, well, kind of actually very much so equivalent. Ryan Spooner's played parts of seasons since 2012, 2013. Didn't really stick till 2015, 2016. And that's about when Ryan Strome really broke in. He broke in 13-14, had that 37-game year, but it was 14-15 that Strome broke in. Now here's the major difference between these two. Spooner, a second-round pick, 45th overall by the Boston Bruins, yes, by Peter Chiarelli in the 2010 NHL entry draft, whereas Ryan Strome in 2011 was a round 1, number 5 overall. Okay, so you know what? Maybe we're actually upgrading in terms of getting rid of a guy who ain't performing for what he was meant to be and getting in a guy who's, quote-unquote, in his career performing averagely for where he was drafted. But going back to the Eberle for Spooner deal, okay? Like, yes, I know there's a lot of paperwork in between to be made up to make that math work in some people's heads. But essentially, it was a gamble that Peter Chiarelli took on trading Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome. Okay, 100%. And then all of a sudden, now Ryan Spooner is coming in for the departing Ryan Strome. A gamble that didn't pay off. And these gambles for Chiarelli are just mounting by the minute for him. It is just getting absolutely devastating. And I mean, you know what? I've had faith in what Chiarelli's doing. And I've been called out for jumping to conclusions too quick. So you know what? I'm going to spare you guys commenting that theory on me. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a relief. I'm going to let Spooner have a couple of games and see if the gamble actually in the long run of things. Hey, by the end of the season, ask me if the Eberle for Spooner deal is worth it. We'll kind of see then. Because Eberle for Strome, we didn't know what we were getting. Strome, well, you know what? Let's go over review Strome's stats before and after he became an Oiler. So Strome, 50 points in 14-15, 28 points in 15-16, 30 points in 16-17. We acquire him and he comes in and puts up 34 points last year. Came on strong late in the season, but 34 points for Jordan Eberle, not exactly equivalent. But now that we know the kind of guy we're bringing in, right? Ryan Spooner is going to be an excellent third line guy. You think about him with Lucic, and I guess they're slotting Marody in there for Saturday night on the third line. I was hoping on the second line, but I mean, you know what? Ratty is kind of the incumbent first liner. You move him down to the second line, then you move him to the third line. So I'll pardon myself and we'll be all right with that for right now. But essentially, now we actually know what we're getting in terms of a guy coming in a trade, right? Ryan Spooner, great third line guy in my estimation, based on his numbers and fitting into this team. Tobias Reeder is out with injury, so you know what? You could make the argument that you throw him up there with Draisaitl and Chiasson, or Nuge and Chiasson, whatever the lines look like for Saturday. They are projected to have Draisaitl on the first line. I don't know if Spooner's going to make it in time. That's the other question, right? I haven't read anything on that. I couldn't find anything on that. But either which way, let's kind of break down this deal a little bit more now that I've gotten my complaints out about it. So New York acquires Ryan Strome from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Ryan Spooner. Plain, simple, nice. There is one complication, however. As tweeted out by Bob McKenzie, New York Rangers retain $900,000 $100,000 of Spooner's salary. So essentially, what this becomes is a $3.1 million contract out and a $3.1 million contract in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So it's okay. And I guess Bob McKenzie's explanation of this trade, and I mean, guys, in Canada, Bob McKenzie is the man when it comes to TSN hockey reporting. The need for speed and trying to get quicker was the impetus for this trade from the Edmonton perspective. So Ryan Spooner, you know what? If he can be quicker than Ryan Strome kind of looked like a stick in mud half the time this year on the ice when I was watching him. If he can be quicker, that's great. Problem is, he's got a slow teammate in Milan Lucic. What do? Do you change the game kind of on that third line and say, Luch, don't move, stand in front of the net? Like, he did that in his first year a lot, and he was very successful. Now he's kind of gotten towards the boards a little bit more in games I've watched, and that's not what Milan Lucic needs to be doing. So if we can avoid Milan Lucic doing that and get him to the front of the net with a guy who's got speed to wheel around the zone and laser the puck from anywhere, that would be 100% what we need. So let's go break down Ryan Spooner, shall we? We haven't really talked about him. He started his junior hockey career with the Peterborough Petes. He's an Ottawa, Ontario native, born January 30th, 1992, for those that like that trivia. Like I said, drafted in the second round, 45th overall by the Boston Bruins, Peter Chiarelli's draft pick. Basically put up around anywhere between 54 to 62 points if he played complete seasons in the OHL. And then he went up to the Providence Bruins for a couple games, just kind of that end of the season, test the waters in the AHL kind of thing. 3 points there. Kingston and Sarnia owned his rights in 2011-2012 in another season of junior. Put up point per game numbers there. That's excellent. That's good. And then it came down again. Test out in the AHL, 5 games, 4 points. Good on him. And 2012-2013, 59 games in the AHL, 57 points. So things were looking very promising. And then 4 games in 2012-2013 with the Bruins, nothing. Another season in Providence, 46 points, 49 games played. Point per game essentially, that's a great pace. This kid looking great. And then he gets called up to the Bruins, puts up 11 assists in 23 games, no goals. That's a questionable number, but that's all right. You know what? He's producing half a point per game, AHL point per game. You know what? Those numbers are good for a guy who then, was 21? That's decent. And then the next season, 18 points in 29 games, 26 points in 34 games in the AHL. Okay, numbers continue for Ryan Spooner. Then 2015-2016, all of a sudden he breaks out of his shell, 49 points, 80 games played. Next season, 39, 78. All right, things are looking all right for Ryan Spooner. Like I said, third line numbers, second line bump up guy, right? If he's hot, throw him on the second line. If he's not, keep him on the third line. Easy, easy, easy. And then all of a sudden it tailed off in 2017-2018 for Ryan Spooner. Actually, not really. Hold on. Pardon me. I thought it did. I couldn't remember what happened to Ryan Spooner. I thought there was a complication. Why he had such a low point total. Only played 39 games last season and put up a total, this is a nice total, of 25 points. Okay, that's good. And then goes over to New York and puts up 16 points in 20 games on the run to finish the season. Okay, not bad. Here's the problem. This season in New York, I know New York's kind of had a really wonky roster at times this year with guys that are thrown in and out of the lineup, kind of like Edmonton has this year as well, from what I remember of the New York game against the Oilers. 2 points in 16 games. Well, guess what? Hold on. Let's go back over to the Ryan Strome stats. 16 games. He's got 2 games to do what Ryan Strome has done with the Oilers so far in this season. He's got 2 points, does Strome, in 18 games played. Now the minuses are kind of where you got to watch this, because Ryan Spooner's a -5 on the year, Ryan Strome only a -1. But the Oilers have not utilized their third line as much as they did earlier in the year throughout this season as it's gone on, because realistically it's been kind of a black hole, right? You've had Puljujarvi, you've had Yamamoto, you've had everybody on that right wing, but you've always had Lucic and Strome since the first couple of games of the year on that third line, and it has not been working. So now this is a big move, because you can kind of argue that things are going to change around for the Oilers. Going to get a speedier third line, well, but Lucic is still there. You still gotta account for the Lucic factor. So I'm not 100% sold if this deal is going to make the Oilers any better, any worse. But guys, that's where I turn it over to you in the comments section below. I'm Tyson. This is Spin Dolly TV. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this trade when it comes to the Oilers trading Strome to New York Rangers for Ryan Spooner. I am up on out of here.